take that as a top 6 then, I guess. I don't know. Most interesting characters I have seen in AWW. Hell's Angel is probably the most interesting one I've seen. Justine put a lot of work into that character. It's really unique, really original. Everybody fucking hates her. She stomps ass. Somehow you get aroused by it at the end of your beating. Next to Hell's Angel, I'd probably have to say would be one of my own characters, El Demente, the Insane Luchador. That took a lot of work. I don't know Spanish whatsoever, and thanks to Valerie Benitez, at the time was the Killer Queen Valerie, she actually helped me half-ass my Spanish for my promos as El Demente. But I'd have to say Hell's Angel and El Demente are probably the two most unique characters I've seen in AWW. Who do I think is the biggest jobber? Ha! In AWW, there's a lot of guys that they show up, they put the work in, they do their promos, but they just lose, they lose. And it would be easy to say that the guys that always lose are the jobbers, and I don't want to say that because that's not fair, because they still show up and they're active and they still do their promos. They're trying. So with AWW, my term for jobber would have to be the most obnoxious, annoying asshole ever. And there was quite a fucking few. Some I have forgotten their names, but there was the one dude that no matter what you did to him, he always had an answer of how he could counter you, and he would be so untouched and Superman. Like, he brought a fucking tank to the show once, taped up in C4, and was daring people to give him a Hell Week. Jobber, that screams desperation. Desperate jobber. Look at me, I'm so impressed if I have a tank. C4. Come blow me, big boys. I can't fucking remember his name. I wish if I could, I would so just be ripping the dude so hard right now. And I can't. One that does come to mind, I do know their name. Fiber. Haha. He was a big time jobber. And, he tried, though. He tried. And I know I said I don't want to label the guys that try but lost as jobbers. Like, Donnie works his ass off. When he gets his wins, they're impressive as fuck, but they're so far and few between that there's such big losing streaks in between. Travis would have labeled him off the spot as a jobber and always swept him under the rug, and I always thought that wasn't cool because Donnie always put in his best. Always does his best, and he shows up to every show, he votes. There's no reason to heckle a guy like that. He tries, and he's so respectful. So when you compare Donnie to like Nathan Fiber and his losing streak, he would lose, but he would promo, and he would try as a promoter, except the way he promoted compared to how he was losing was, my shit doesn't stink. And when he lost, it's when he fucking lost that he becomes the jobber, because it's not, oh man, I lost by a vote, oh, so close, I'll work harder next time. He immediately will go to admin, GM, anybody he think has any pull or swing, and go, why man, oh fuck you guys, you're rigging it. And that wasn't bad. Eventually he grew out of that phase and he was good. He was putting in the effort, he wasn't whining as much, and thought he had changed. I even so much thought so highly of him that, you know, he kind of reminded me of me when I first started in AWA and couldn't win to save my ass, but I was still talking a big game. So I was like, well fuck, this guy wants just his first world title match. I get it, I wanted that once too. I offered to bring him in on a storyline that me, Mike, David Stone, Dave Garza, Terry, Donnie, we worked this big invasion, take fucking titles from GEW, bring them back, convert them to AWW belts, and just fucking trash GEW. I brought Nathan in on that, and not only was it doing good for him? It got him up to number 4 in the ranks. He got the IC title after having 3 stellar back-to-back fucking matches with Ralph. He was one half of the tag team champions with me after we wrecked everybody in the tag team division in a tournament. We couldn't lose. We couldn't be stopped. He had nothing but momentum, and out of the fucking blue, all I said was, we're going to storyline lose a match. It has no outcome on our momentum. It's just to help bring another person from GEW over with a belt to explain our hatred on GEW. We're going to storyline lose it, let the Plague have their moment in the storyline. It won't hurt anything, won't hurt your ranking, won't hurt nothing. He immediately wanted to fucking whine. But I don't think I can take part in this storyline anymore. I don't feel appreciated. So I was like, fine, you want out? I'll write you out of the storyline. So I did. As one half of the tag team champions, I dropped the belts because my partner no longer wanted to team with me, and I was going to defend them by myself against the Plague. That's 1 against 5. That's fucking ludicrous. So I dropped the belts, and I had to rework everything to bring Donnie in with the Bloodline. Meanwhile, Nathan Fiber ups and just fucking leaves as still being IC champion, because he assumed that the next logical step for us to do was we're going to put him in a match against somebody for the IC title and fucking rig it so he lost it. He had that wrapped around his head. And even though how many times that all the guys that had him on the storyline, no, you want out, we can respect that, you're out. You can defend your title, go your own way, do your own thing, it's cool, we get it. He goes to GEW. He tells everybody we were rigging votes and hating on him. He gets Albert to hand him the World Heavyweight title over there. So when I finally get a hold of Nathan and I bring him back and I ask him what's going on, he gives me the bullshit storyline, well, you're taking my belts from me. And I was like, I didn't take belts from you. I dropped the tag team because you didn't want to team anymore. You didn't want to be part of the storyline. So logically, I took you out of the storyline and I dropped the belts. You still had your IC title. The only way somebody would take that from you is unless they legitimately beat you. What the fuck's your problem? Well, I don't know if I can do it because I'm now the world champion in GEW. And I already said that my only goal in AEW was I wanted to be world champion. And the way I took that was he was basically whining for me to hand him the AEW World Heavyweight title. And I told him, you know what? Fuck you, dude. I gave you chance after chance. You had been kicked out before, brought back. I've given you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. You're doing good with it because I didn't just hand you a fucking fictional fucking title. You're going to say fuck the group, shit on us, fuck our storyline, be a prick about it, and then fucking whine because you don't feel appreciated. So when I say fuck you, dude, fuck you, you need to grow up, that's where that comes from. Nathan Fiber is the world's biggest fucking jobber. He will always be the world's biggest fucking jobber. As long as Nathan Fiber exists, he will coincide with the name of Jobber. He will never again step foot in a fucking WW. Whatever the fuck he does in any other RP group, I could care less because in my eyes, he is nothing but a jobber. Promo only groups, who I think's the biggest jobber? Torrance. Best inmate in the AWW not to have been world champion yet. Quite a few. I would put Michael. I'm probably gonna butcher your last name, dude. I'm sorry, Michael Muncie. Mike. I'm just gonna call him Mike. Michael. I'll call you Michael because I know Draven is Mike, so I'll call you Michael. Vile Maniac. He works his ass off in AEW, and I don't know how best to describe it. He works his ass off, wins big matches. Every time he gets to the world title match, it doesn't happen. And I think he's probably one of the best inmates right now to not have been world champion yet. At least one of the best not to have been world champion. Next one, I think that'd probably be Justine. Back before she finally left the AEW for good, I was IC champion, and I had challenged her to a match, and I won, but I only beat her by a vote. So I was trying to build a feud with her for the IC title to get her, you know, just shot up there, because she already does the promos, she's already does the work. There's nothing else more Travis was doing with her other than sticking her in the television title, or with the Black Widows division that only had 2 chicks in it, Valerie and Justine, which wasn't fair. And Justine could beat half the guys on the roster. He would only stick her in the World Television title, again with only Val. So it didn't really make sense to me. So at the time, I was trying to get... Fuck you, you tape. Fucking hold my phone up. Hold on, I've got to ghetto rig this shit real quick. Oh, it's fucking ridiculous. I need a fucking camera with a tripod. Camera with a fucking tripod would be epic. Which is why you'll probably never see me do video promos. So she was stuck basically in the World Television title as the highest title Travis would let her go for. I didn't agree with it, so talking with Justine, I was like, you know, I really want to do a feud with you for the IC title. If for nothing else, to get you up higher out of the fucking world title scene, and because I like working with you. We did the first match. I think I beat her by a vote. So, playing along with the storylines, she challenged me again, and I was like, well, I already beat you in a regular match. I really want to test your limits. I want to see how far you're willing to go, if you're willing to really climb that ladder to success, which led to a ladder match for the IC title. I think or wait, do I have the matches? Hold on. No, it was a non-title ladder match, just to see if she could get the shot for the IC title. 6 years, a lot of it jumbles. You gotta give me a minute to put the pieces back together. It was a non-title ladder match for her to get the IC title shot. She beat me by a vote. In the rematch, that was just a regular match. I had beaten her by a vote, and I thought it probably could have gone for like 3-4 more matches. And Travis shot it down, because Travis didn't like Justine, and you know what you're gonna do about that, right? But she left. There was some personal stuff that happened between me and her. I'm not gonna get into that because that's nobody else's business. But she's back in AWW now, and I think she's probably, her and Vile are the 2 top inmates in AWW that have yet to be world champion. And I would really like to see one of them get it. And then there's also Donnie, who has been with the group since Cell Block Z. He's won a lot of the lower tier titles, but I know he wants to be at least world champion at least once, and I'm trying my hardest to make that happen for him. So I guess 3, I'd say Donnie, Vile, and Justine be my top 3 inmates to not have been world champion.